Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinex.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you?
I'm good.
Great. Good morning, Tundu. How are you?
I'm good.
Great.
Morning.
Good morning, Rufai. How are you?
Morning,
I love your pink tie.
Thank you.
It is so bright. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, good morning.
I love your maroon too. This is maroon, right?
You love maroon
Yeah,
for some
maroon.
reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have two shades of maroon here.
No, this is not maroon,
No, that's
Dr. Abati.
magenta.
This is magenta.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
Working for that diploma.
Love it. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, jurors on Wednesday convicted the three men, Greg McMichael, Travis McMichael, and William Rhodey Bryan, charged in the death of Ahmaud Arbery, who was chased and fatally shot while jogging through their neighborhood in an attack that became part of the larger national reckoning on racial injustice. The three men were sentenced to life in prison. In the United Kingdom, 31 migrants drowned in the English Channel on Wednesday near Calais after their boats sank. The International Organization for Migration said it was the biggest single loss of life in the channel since it began collecting data in 2014. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he was appalled by what happened and that the United Kingdom will leave no stone unturned to stop human trafficking gangs. In China, the Cyberspace Administration announced on Wednesday that celebrities in the country will not be allowed to show off their wealth or extravagant pleasure on social media. The ban is the latest crackdown on the entertainment industry in the country. Under sports, thousands of fans of football legend Diego Maradona are paying tribute to the star today, November 25th, as the day marks the one-year anniversary of his death. Maradona's personal life was controversial, marked by excesses with drugs and alcohol. He died at the age of 66 from cardiac arrest amid allegations over past relationships that now threaten to tarnish his legacy. Finally, under entertainment, the Consulate-General of Nigeria in New York on Wednesday took possession of 3 Benin and Ife artifacts from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The artifacts are 2 16th century Benin brass plaques and 1 14th century Ife brass head. The artifacts are the latest to be returned from a collection of artworks looted from Nigeria in 1897. I mean, this is great news, as always. Sunju, Dr. Abati, Rufai. You know, it was first of all the University of Aberdeen, and then the Cambridge with Okuko, and now we have this. I am so impressed with this whole, you know, innovation, I guess. That's what I'll call it, because obviously we are opening our museum here in Nigeria. And it's very important that these museums are trying to collaborate with, you know, Nigeria, and I love it.
I think it's great. I mean, we're talking about Les Miserables in our previous segment, our interview with Francesca, so I'll give you a bit of Victor Hugo, but not from Les Mis. And he was saying that there's nothing as powerful as an idea whose time has come,
Yes.
not even all the armies. And this is what we're seeing now. And next is probably going to be the Smithsonian, because they've already taken their Benin artworks and put them out of view because they cannot, in good conscience, continue to display looted art. Isn't this amazing? So what has started, like you said, as a trickle, I do hope it becomes a flood and that all of our art finds its way back home.
Yes.
Well, I think first we have to know the fact that many Nigerians and also our international partners put a lot of effort into this. You know, campaign against stolen heritage, not just from Nigeria, but from across Africa or in other parts of the world. The Egin marbles, the Greek, you know, treasures that were stolen. And the whole point is that, look, restitution has to be made for the legacy of plunder and looting that characterize colonial rule and adventures by certain persons in certain parts of the world. Because these artifacts are part of the experience of the people, part of the religion, the worldview of a people. And in our own particular case here in Nigeria, there's been, you know, concerted effort to ensure that stolen, looted artifacts are returned. That of Benin is particularly, of concern, because this was the part of the story of the 1897 punitive Benin expedition by the British. So we have from the British some artifacts coming back. The famous one, most recently, the Okukwo from Cambridge. And then now you have these artifacts also being returned from the US, the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Nigeria had also engaged Germany. Germany had agreed to return 113 artifacts in total. Maybe that will happen sometime early next year. It's 113, right?
Well, I don't know.
Or is it
I thought it was 1,309. Yeah, 1,309
okay.
about.
Even if it is, even if it is 10,000 or whatever thousand, I think it's important that we're having this dialogue and it's ongoing. And you have a country like France that is also enthusiastic about returning the stolen heritage. However, in our case, we hosted the Director General of the National Monuments and Museums Commission not too long ago on this program. And the question was raised about who takes custody of these artifacts. How would they be preserved? And what will we do with them? And would the Nigerian government, I hope that will happen, on the basis of artifacts being returned, invest more in the construction of memory and heritage. If you go to Egypt, you can spend a whole day in the city of Cairo. In fact, you can spend a whole month just going around, just going from one museum to the other. We still don't have that here in Nigeria. Maybe in the 70s we had functional museums, but many of those museums have not been properly taken care of. We would like to see a change in that regard. We would like to see this being the beginning of a better focus on the cultural sector and on this heritage, preservation here in Nigeria. Yes, if that is the outcome, the next outcome of it, then, of course, the effort will have been worth the struggle.
Right. Rufai.
So these people must return what they have stolen. And the British must return everything they have stolen. I don't care about their laws that says, oh, we got it already, then we use laws to protect it, then you can't take it back. Shame on them. They must bring these things back. And let me say it here. Just imagine what it will mean if we take the Bayeux tapestry and steal it out of France. That's what it feels like. You're stealing our heritage, our history, and our symbols of worship. So I was looking at those artworks you're seeing. Do you know those bronze casting are chronological recordings of the Benin history? You'll see the chronological recordings of Portuguese soldiers. That's why you see they had helmets on there. In the 1600s and the 1700s, the Benin Empire had a great, partnership and concord of some sort with Portugal. We're both trading partners. And it was said then that you had Portuguese soldiers also mounting guard and helping with security in the Benin Empire.
Right.
And that's what that work of art records. And then you steal this away, you steal our story, you steal our heritage away, and you say...
We need our history back.
So you must bring it back. And concerning museums, there are some in great condition, but we can do more, to improve those museums. There's one that's been built, the J.K. Randall Museum. Once that comes on stream, that could get it's very modern. And also, apart from that, we should also look into technology, 3D imaging of most of these artifacts. I was happy about the story when the American government were doing the 3D imaging of the Osho-Shogbo Grove. And that's something we should, preserve. That's our heritage. Absolutely. It shouldn't be the Americans coming to do 3D imaging of it for us. We should archive that. We should do a lot to restore the War Museum in Benin, which has a great repository of history. I've been to that museum many times.
Have you?
Yes.
Very nice.
Most of the guns that were used to fight the Kiriji and Jalumi wars are in that museum. The Dane guns that were used to fight. So we should do a lot to preserve all of that. And the museum right here in Oniko, you need to go there. The one where you have the car of the former head of state that was shot, Murtala Mohammed.
Murtala Mohammed.
The car is still there. But it's not in good condition. We must preserve that.
I like that
please,
point.
Nigerians out there, please go more to museums on Saturday so that at least we can increase the revenue And this monies can be plowed back to, helping the museums function effectively.
Well said, Rufai. Tundu, you wanted to...
Just a second, because we don't have time. I just wanted to say the point that you made, you might not be surprised, is exactly a reason why some are saying, especially in Britain, that the Benin bronzes should not be returned, because those bronzes were made from the proceeds of slavery because of the trade beneath the Benin Empire and the Portuguese. But that's a whole other topic.
All right, then. We'll take another story. Some Nigerians have reacted to the Minister of Aviation's announcement indicating that the country's proposed national carrier, Nigeria Air, will take off by April 2022. The Minister, Hadi Sarika, made the announcement while briefing State House correspondents on Wednesday. He said the national carrier will be run by a company in which the Nigerian government will hold a 5% stake, while Nigerian entrepreneurs will hold 46%, and the remaining 49% will be reserved for yet-to-be-assigned strategic equity partners, including foreign investors. The minister further stated that the national carrier, when operational, will create about 70,000 jobs for Nigerians. Well, let's take some reactions. This was from Big Nathan, who wrote, "We do not need this investment. Allow the private sector drive this. We need capitalism to ramp development and innovation. We need a capital market set up for innovations. We cannot keep or afford to lose money. Government parastatals will not pay for flight on the order of the minister." Well, another user wrote, "Nigeria government has no priorities. There are universities and colleges, hospitals, and urgent infrastructure to be built. Is it airline that you're pressing need? I can bet that this airline will not survive 18 months. John, I guess he is resounding what everyone is saying. If you recall, there were all those other airlines that have, folded. Nigerian Airways, Virgin Nigeria. What else is there? Now it's Nigeria Air. A lot of people are saying it is Hadi Sarika's legacy that he wants to leave behind. Because obviously, why would we want our taxpayers' money to go into an airline at this point when, like John said, there are so many infrastructures that need help at this point? The private sector should be in charge of this innovation, I think. Tundu Abiola.
I get John's point completely, and Nathan's point, especially the last sentence of government parastatals will not pay. That was some of the maladministration that completely sank Nigerian Airways. There were stories, remember, people's girlfriends and what have you, flying, gratis. Yes, and that's why we're where we are today. But a man's got a dream, I guess. But just not at our expense. But Dr. Abati, you said something earlier, and I was really so shocked that the Nigerian Airways staff are still lingering in some kind of purgatory.
Certainly.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, absolutely.
And I hope someone would try to spare a thought for them. But in any case, I'm skeptical about that April 2022 date. But, of course, if you go to council, you have to get some memos approved. The only point I did not add earlier on was that the outline business case that was approved by the RCRC, in addition to other conditions, had a shelf life of 1 year. There was a clause in that particular letter of compliance or certificate of no objection that it will last only for 1 year. So which means that effectively, there is no certificate of no objection on the table or a certificate of compliance, because the minister said they had gone to the council. They only succeeded, the ministry succeeded the 6th time to get the approval of councils. So what follows? If the approval that was previously given by the ICRC for establishing an airline has already expired, are they now going to go back again to the same ICRC and go through the entire process all over again? And the fund I was referring to when you said taxpayers' money, well, the only part that probably affects the taxpayer is what the ICRC requested for, what they call a viability gap fund, a VGF. Now, who is going to pay that? Where is it going to come from? Is it in the budget? But maybe I should just not go any further and say that the Ministry of Aviation has a lot more to explain to Nigerians.
Yes.
And all of those airlines being managed by AMCON Asset Management Company of Nigeria. Why don't they put those ones together?
That is the actual
and
point,
form,
right?
you know, an airliner out of that. I know people are sentimental. I mean, in Namibia, they have Air Namibia.
But
they have
most
Kenya
countries
Airways,
are not doing that
they have
anymore.
South African
But do you know that
Airways.
most countries are not doing, they're not flying national carriers anymore in other countries?
Yeah,
Especially
but you have
Yes.
things like Air Namibia, Kenya Airways, South African Airlines, Ethiopian
They're not
Airlines.
managed by
But
the
they are not-
country.
they are not managed by government,
Yeah, because-
which is
exactly.
one of the clauses
Right.
in the letter of no objection that the Minister of Aviation got, that government must not in any way interfere. But can we guarantee that in Nigeria? Even that 5% equity that the federal government says it will reserve for itself may even be more important than the 46% equity that Nigerian shareholders would. And who would like to put his money in Nigeria Air, given the history of the failure of Nigeria Air?
Which is one of the
given
reasons
the
why it was
experience
stopped in the first place.
by
That's what
Virgin-
Lai Mohammed said, because investors were
They
worried.
pulled out.
Yes.
Given the experience of Virgin Airlines, which had to pull out
Yes.
of the country. But I guess, Hadi Sirika, the Minister of Aviation, knows certain things that we do not know.
Yeah.
Because he's a product of that industry. He probably knows something
Absolutely.
that are special, things that are special to him.
Okay.
But he should share more information
We want to
with
know.
the public.
Absolutely.
We'd like to know.
We'll take another story. The Niger State Government on Tuesday raised the alarm that the Islamic State West Africa province and Boko Haram terrorists are establishing camps in the state. The Secretary of the State Government, Ahmed Matane, at a press conference in Mina, said armed bandits are aligning with insurgents to indoctrinate residents in some communities in Shiroro local government area of the state, and that the group has been preaching a strict Islamic ideology and banning women from going to conventional schools. He added that the group was assuring residents of protection, but asked them to reject Western education as well as government directives. The groups have reportedly made a video claiming that they are not kidnappers, but are engaging in religious activities, and assured the government that they are God sent to establish an Islamic caliphate. I mean, Rufai, what do we do with a story like this at this time?
It's sad. So there are many multiple-pronged approach to this. Number one, we have a problem on ground. Niger State is 76,000 square kilometers of land. It's a humongous space of land to deal with. The question is, how do we manage ungoverned spaces? 76,000 square kilometers of land. Secondly, there's another path about development. That if you put development in place, then you can cushion the effect of religious fundamentalism and things like that. Because when you look at poverty index, it feeds into all this agitation. It's because the people are poor, that's why they can be used for things like this. So that same Niger State, if you put a lot of infrastructural development there, people will not have a need to go carry guns and carry weapons and say, okay, they're fighting for this and causing mayhem and trouble. And there's a third part to it, fighting them head on. I'm talking about these insurgents, these terrorists, breaking their back and also putting development in place. That's the third part to it. So all of this approach, great. But what is most formative for me in all of this is the fact that we have not been able to follow the money. Because when you look at it, terrorists, insurgents are fueled by cash. Once you can break the back of that cash, then they don't get money to buy weapons. Mm-hmm. I think the formative thing for us is to follow the money, follow the cash, and people that have been pointed in this, supplying them cash, like the people that are indicted in Dubai.
But we're still waiting for the federal government to expose these people.
And that's why a lot of people talk about insincerity in all of this.
At this point.
They should follow those people, cut the train of cash, because if these people don't get money to buy bullets in their guns, they'll not be able to shoot people down. So if we can be sincere enough to cut all of that off, then now bring in, I don't know the jargon, they say kinetic or non-kinetic method. Now bring in development in there to ensure that HDI of these people increase, human development index increase, people can go to schools and the likes, and there are better opportunities for them.
Yeah.
Then things can become a whole lot better. For me in Niger State, I see possibility. I see 76,000 square kilometers of arable, judicious land that can be put to use.
Yep.
But it's laying barren.
it's serious situation happening in Niger State. If you recall, only about 2 weeks ago, Lai Mohammed had claimed that there was no, I guess he was responding to the article by The Economist saying that there was no stronghold, no Boko Haram stronghold in Nigeria at this point. And then we see this. This is the Niger State government crying out.
Not for the first time. You recall earlier this year, a few months ago, I know you remember that story because you were completely outraged. The Niger State governor had to lament that these people have gone to Kari village and have hoisted their flags and kidnapped married women from their husbands' homes. And this is just 2 kilometers from Abuja. Remember when he was really quite irate, their governor? And absolutely nothing has been done.
No.
All we're seeing now is this escalation. And it is worrying because there's that ideological component to this issue. That is what makes things more intractable. People actually believe that they are God-sent. How do you fight that?
Well, they claim they are not here to do anything. They're not kidnapping. They just want to install their caliphate. Dr. Abbas.
Long before now, the same Secretary to the State Government of Niger State, Ahmed Mane, was on This Day Live, another program on this station, and he made it clear that indeed, bandits and terrorists are taking over many villages in Niger State. And since then, there have been occasional expressions of fear by persons, commentators, that we could wake up one day when we will find terrorists or bandits attacking the Federal Capital Territory. I think that this is a major, security, revelation.
Yes.
That Niger State, which is a neighboring state, just even surrounding the Federal Capital Territory, have been infiltrated, taken over by terrorists who are setting up camps and who are indoctrinating people and who may use the opportunity to even recruit more people within that environment. Well, Abuja is protected by the Brigade of Guards because it's the seat of government and other agencies, of course, but the security there is the primary responsibility of the Brigade of Guards. I think that the security agencies should engage with the Niger State government to find out the details that the SSG may not be able to provide on the pages of newspapers or on television, and then take proactive steps to make sure that if indeed what he's reporting is true, then that is not allowed.
Absolutely.
Because it will be a big embarrassment,
absolutely,
to the country, for us to just wake up one day to hear that, Boko Haram was already on the streets of the Federal Capital Territory.
That's the fear.
I mean, that would be worse than the Tigray forces marching on Addis Ababa.
Well said.
So I hope the security agencies will do their job. Anyway, thank you very much.
That's all I have for you on What's Trending today. See you tomorrow.